Good morning. Live from Florida. Hello, Pittsburgh. America, America. The dreams, the dreams. The dreams where dreams can't come true. And good morning. This is Waking Up with Michael and you. This is 10 o'clock talks. I am Michael Anthony. Welcome in, welcome in. Want to say hello to Steel City Insulation. Hope you guys are doing well. Salon Atmosphere. Hello up there, Miss Lindsay. I hope you are doing well also. I do designs by Eva. Never gonna forget you, Miss Eva. All my love to you guys. All my love. I hope business is doing well. I hear things are picking up. Signs of life. Signs of life. These are great things. These are great things. First time in, or if you're checking in with us, again, I'm Michael Anthony. This is 10 o'clock talks. And we're going to do some talking here. And again, the ghost was back today. Seems my format, things have been changed somewhat. Guess that's how it goes. I also have a live feed flash here. Let me see what's going on. Let me check to make sure we are streaming. I don't even know. Maybe we're not. Hello, Joanne. I enjoyed our conversations last night, just so you know. I really, really did. So let's see what we have here. Well, maybe not. Oh, it does look like we're alive a little bit. We're alive. Enough is enough. Wake up, people. And she is so right. Hello, Miss Beth. How are you today? Beth is such a rock star. She is why we are here. She is why we are important. I mean, truthfully. She is a rock star, a warrior of the 10, just as many as you are. And we appreciate all your shares and everything everybody does for us. Everything from everybody. There's Miss April. Good morning, April. How are you? Sometimes it's hard to get verification. All right, so now it's like we got this new feature on there if you want to watch from your TV. I wouldn't do that though. A picture that big might scare you off. Stay small, stay small. The less you see is better. Sometimes they say the less you see is better. You know what I'm talking about, ladies. Okay, but anyway, you know, I'm just saying. I don't always agree with that. I don't always agree with that. Hey, great weekend though coming up, right? We're gonna stay positive here for a minute. It won't last long, but we're coming up on this great day in our nation, a holiday, and you know, got to give thanks to what the forefathers did and the people's beliefs, no matter how right or wrong they were. They did it with the belief of freedom for America, and that's a very important thing. Something that really pissed me off though was Mad Max Waters is trying to introduce a bill to abolish this commemorance of America, this date, this holiday, and wants to see it or a new proclamation, as maybe how she would say it, as George Floyd Day. I mean, are you? She's off a freaking rocker. I mean, no, we're not going to stand for that. We're going to push back as hard as we can. I know we are. We're going to push back as hard as we can. I had a couple enjoyable phone calls last night that went a lot longer than I thought. A friend needed me. I stayed with it. It was important. And I just want to shout out to her. I hope you're well today and things are going good. And, your mindset's in a good place. Go have some fun, live life. Don't let this get to you like that. Don't let it get to you like that. And then I killed the conversation on somebody who was very genuine, beautiful, and nice. And I felt really bad because I was stuck between this place. And you know how that can happen. It can. It can happen. You're doing what you do, and I'm studying, I'm reading, I'm researching a little bit to talk to you guys about a lot of things here. And I know I'm going easy into this right now, but I felt it a little bit necessary to just get this out there. I want to let you know I will be in touch, Joanne. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you for where your mindset is and what you're doing for America on your side. Hello, Christians. Appreciate you guys. Israel support, Trump support. And I know you're rocking starring out there. I know you are, man. I busted you, Mr. Trump. I busted you. I know what you're up to. Anyway, that might tell you a little something today. I'm not going to give you all the gravy, though, unless I get some mashed potatoes for it. I mean, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And there's Mary Kay. Hello, another great, great person. Hi, Mary Kay, childhood friend. What's up, rock star? Say hello to Joe and Tucker. Can't leave out Tucker. Great, great post you do, Mary Kay. Great post. All right, yeah. So isn't this like the worst thing you can do? You want to get rid of this national holiday and create a new name, George Floyd Day? Are you? Come on, this is bizarre, bizarre, bizarre. But hey, the walls are tumbling down. I'm telling you, they really are. And check this one out. And this is a positivity thing as well. And it really is. Do you remember the thing down in Texas? That thing, as Joe would say, the thing. But no, I'm going to stay off, bullying Joe today. No, I really won't. But anyway, let's bully Joe a little bit. 21 states on the gun carry bill. 21 states, jump in. So, hey, that's fantastic news. It really is. Let me get the blare of this out of my eye, but there's better, better, better. And then we have Fauci. Now, I'm not going to let up on him, and it's going to be a couple things in there. Like I said, my day went a little bizarre. I was on really early this morning, too. I did a 25-minute power thing, and it was really good. I stayed focused. You guys would have been proud of me. You really would have. So anyway, when I get the copy back, I have more to upload. I will get it out there. You guys can watch if you care to. Share, care, support, never no funds, nonprofits don't want nothing from you. We don't need no support. All it takes is me and you, and that's support enough. That really is, and I thank you for it. All right, so Fauci, I think he's making some really bad judgment calls, in a good way. I don't know what's breaking down over there with him or who's pressuring him. But, I mean, he just may be getting himself in some real deep hot water here. As I said, I don't foresee him to be around long. But guess what? I see Joe come a-tumbling. And that's going to happen really, really soon. That is going to come right with Fauci. It's going to all play a part in a party to each other. It's going to connect the dot that's going to, blow some people away. I really think it's going to happen soon. And when the media starts attacking Biden, that's saying a lot. I'll say a little bit more on that shortly. But I think Fauci has now basically perjured himself in ways and questionings and so forth. And this all goes back to the funding of the labs and so forth. And we know what that's about, okay? We know, and they call the gang research and all this different things. And I don't know every terminology for everything, all right? Let me put that out to you that way there. But I do have a pretty good gist of it all, and I know you guys do too, because you guys give me a lot of support and a lot of education. Thank you for that, truly. I mean that. So you get all these hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you have all these subsidiaries where this connects the dot to that connects the dot to this connects the dot to this point over here. Well, that's how all the pieces of the puzzles fit. And as I always say, if you follow money, and I've always said, follow the money trail, it takes you back. It does. So we know that there was direct ties. And as he says now, admittingly, mind you, they kind of gave us their word that they wouldn't do this. Come on. And you had to fake the rest of the deal? I mean, that's because there was a different, protocol to a plan. But yeah, okay, so, they made him a personal, promise. So that's an admittance of money directly, and then you have the indirectly. This guy's going to hang. This guy's going to hang. He put a target over himself, a blanket. He did everything I thought he would do and say, as I was projecting some things to happen big. This is big. And not only is it big, it's going to take down Biden with him because Biden canceled an executive order where Trump had put in place to go and investigate China. And guess what Biden did? He stopped the investigation. Now the media globally is reporting on this, and that is going to be catastrophic to Biden, without a doubt. It's going to be catastrophic. So these are big. I was waiting for the mistakes to come out to verify them. They have been now. More clarity's coming to the picture, and I think that should be a big positive note for you guys in a major way. Hello, Merle in Texas. How are you, brother? Good to hear from you. Get on here and stay tuned. All right. I want to talk to you a little bit more about this because I'm going all over the place here, and you know how I do that. I even stutter at times. Stutter. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right, these insurance claims are fake claims. Okay, we know about this, but I'm going to get into a story on someone that I had a little partial interview with. I was a party to it, and I think it's going to bring and reveal a lot more and basically confirm and validate what I talk about, what you talk about. And I think that's important that I was able to make that connection. So, yeah, the healthcare is guilty of sin, without a doubt. You know, they're guilty of sin. And everything is, you know how everything is marked up. They're in it for the almighty buck. COVID must come first, not patience. And, you know, it doesn't matter how, who, where, when, what had occurred in your life. And I'm going to get into this story in a minute that will confirm some of this. And it didn't matter if you had a drug overdose, COVID had something to do with that. Now, I know it's nothing to laugh at. You know, people make a mistake. They get involved in things they shouldn't. But here's one that's a little bit even more different. If you were in an accident, and you know, usually nurses communicate with the doctors for the death certificates and so forth. You know, we know how all that is. You got to have protocol. At least we think we need to have it. In this administration, maybe nothing's important, just rip it up. But that's kind of where they're getting busted. So that's a good thing. Yeah, guy's in an accident, and the doctor, the nurse says, "Well, how do we write this up?" And he says, "Well, you know, we believe that his test came back positive with COVID, and he was out driving. So we don't know what COVID had to do with the accident yet." So I'm sorry. You know, come on. You had a fever and you're in a car, you're in an accident, and it's COVID related. And the doctor insinuates that there's probably a connection between the accident, his driving. Really? No, but anyway, so you see where I'm going. I'm going to talk more about this and give you a gist of what the interview is about. It's just crazy. It's just crazy bullshit, honest to God. It doesn't end. So Denmark and Israel have now made a statement, and they're backing out and breaking away from all this COVID bullshit. Check that out. Check that out. And there's more. You got Sweden breaking away from climate, and now some other jurisdictions, even in the United States, that do not want the planes up there running. Okay. Did you know? Let me throw this at you real quick. No, never mind. I'll hold you off a little bit. I'm going to get into something that might be a little bit of fun and educational. But all right. So the State Department is requiring the U.S. embassies now to place Black Lives Matter flags over their embassies and some of the state buildings. I don't know if they're taking something down, but I know they're going to have, in addition to now, the importance of that in America. It's all the people of color are a perfect representation of the American flag. We had, I believe they were called, I'm going off memory here, the Foo Fighters or something. They were a black flying group. And man, they were like rock stars up there. I mean, they saved America. I mean, we know who these people are. You don't need, come on, this, where we're at right now in this world, in America, is just pathetic. It's pathetic. And it's uncalled for. every person of blood of humanity in the country of the United States of America, still probably owned by England because they do get 20% of our tax dollars off the top. Yeah, true fact. Whatever, say they take, $10 trillion in tax. Well, 20% of that would be 2 trillion. They get it automatically. Why? Well, these are things you can ask yourself. But to insinuate that people of America, of all colors, aren't as one under the American flag is an insult to our flag, our country, and everything we stand for as people. Life and death, as we know it, and what this weekend stands for. How appalling. You want to place something out of your business, I get that. But to take and add into state and embassy representation, aren't you leaving out a bunch of people? That's my thought. You're creating a diversity of separation more and more. And, if I see one of these flags, no, I'm not even going to get into that because you know what I would do with that flag. I'll just say it like that. And I know what you would probably do. I'm sensitive to their ethical points. How can one not be ethical, and think smart about where we are in America and what matters? And if it matters to somebody, I hear your voice. I do. I respect your voice. But this is getting out of hand and bizarre. But I don't think it's going to last. I just don't think it's all going to last. Anyway, my coffee's hot. How about yours? Anybody got hot coffee out there today? Taxation without representation. Hi, yeah, good comment. Hey, Mary Kay. She's watching. I got to send a couple waves back here. I'm working on something a little smaller here. Anyway, it's all good. Yeah, so somebody does have hot coffee. You ladies are rock stars. You're the warriors for me. I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. And I know you're sharing. I see my numbers going up. I am so grateful to you because, no, really, it's not so much about me. But, it takes time to do this. And I just hope some insights of what I say are as important to some other people that share with you too. And we stand strong together, knowing that we do this for each other, person to person. We don't have to have a goal of rock stardom here. We just need a goal of what our thoughts and emotions and our expressions are. Like, isn't it great to live in Florida? Freedom, where you can be sued for $100,000 and subjected to even more if you suppress in the wrong manner. Yeah, crazy stuff. But hey, that's what makes people now part of Florida. So everybody should become part of Florida today. Everybody should become part of Florida. Whatever it takes, you go into your profile and you say Florida, 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 and let them choke on that spit for a while. Because they will. They won't know how to judge you. They won't know what to do. And you'll have them by the balls. Oh, did I say that? I did, but we could be talking about basketballs here. I don't know. Anyway, I'll let you decide on what I meant. Didn't mean it in any bad ways. I know I got a lot of women out there watching, but hey, it is what it is. Sometimes I got potty mouth, and that's why your prayers are important. You guys keep me in check. You really do. So, I really believe Fauci, just a little review, some new people come in. I really believe Fauci has admitted to committing perjury in so many and uncertain spoken words that he did speak in his questionings. And that's one of the big things, because this jab, this Frankenshot, all this miracle cure is still so huge, and it's being pressured. It's the wave of the future. I mean, jump aboard this train. It's the soul train, like you know what I'm saying? It's just weird. It's just weirdness. But these are all coming to surface, and I really think he's going to have himself in some really deep hot water here. And it's definitely coming. It's definitely coming. Prepare yourself for some fun, because now you're going to see some change in narratives really coming out strong from in many ways of many surfaces. Let's talk about something else here that's kind of important to you. And Craig, I want to say hi to you over at Bicycle Heaven. Thank you for watching and checking us out. And I really hope if anybody this weekend is free, go over down to North Side Pittsburgh. I got word down here that they're having this big event, and I want you to go check it out. It's the biggest in the world bicycle museum, from the earliest everything on bicycles to the present. The hardest things in the world to find, the most famous people that ever rode them, and surf. I call it the surf and turf wars, where they fly on these bikes and these BMXs and all this stuff. You got to check this place out. It's phenomenal. It really, really is. But let's get into this. Something else that's phenomenal and huge right now. We talked about before between us and passing the word to the public out there about the increases on homes and everything. Um, I was able to find a little view clip, and I dug this. I thought, this is cool. So we're talking about things going up. You know, one of the main features in the new homes now, it used to be full sheets plywood. Now it went to like what they call, I think, particle board or CDX, one of those nickname things. Anyway, I should know what it is. I've been doing wood my whole life, but you know, it's what you call coming of age, I guess. But it's up 700%, 700%. You know, I mean, it's cheap, engineered board. It's good. It's certified. It'll work. It does its job, and it'll last a long, long time. Yes, for sure. But let's just say it was, you know, $10 a sheet. The U.S. government representatives came out yesterday and said that they're asking over 700% of its average retail cost for one sheet. Being reported by the troopers on the Republican side. This isn't made up. This is astonishingly, this is nuts. This is nuts. And this is Build America Great Again. Milk. Milk. How much do you think milk went up? I mean, everybody probably already sees a little bit of everything going on here, and you haven't seen it all yet. The worst is yet to come, especially when you're taxed nearly, you know, 40% of your whole paycheck, too, which is somewhere lingering out there. Now, will Harris enforce this once Joe goes bye-byes? I don't know, but please stand by. You'll find out. Bread up 7.4%. Gasoline is up 51% and higher. So now you're getting into the range of $50,000 for a 2-bedroom house on materials. Now remember, on materials, not to repeat this kind of thing to you, but then your labor costs go higher. Your labor costs go and affect with the cost of materials. So if you have $100,000 in materials, and it's 2.5% of, or 2.5 times the amount of the material cost, then you see where you're at, right? $350,000. And that's how it works out, you know, and they do it by the square foot also. And what used to be like $24 is now $48 a square foot to build. It's just getting crazy. It's just some examples of what's going on out there, and I don't see no end for it in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, the fixed incomers, that's, yeah, terrible, terrible. So, and then you got to add in your gas, your light, your insurance, your rent. It's not going to be enjoyable, not by any means. And then you pay for water, public water and sewage. That's nailing you. If you didn't or weren't fortunate enough to have a great education and you were small on the totem pole, you know, as far as what you paid into Social Security, hello, how are you going to stay alive? There's no way to stay alive in a program such as this infrastructure program that now he wants anywhere between 6 trillion to 7.1 trillion. What a hand job this guy is, honestly, you know. But again, puppets being told in place, and now they're mad at him. They're mad at him. The media's turned on him as well, and is now, get this, they're throwing support at Trump. What is really in play here? What is really in play here to persuade some of the kings in media to create a narrative and put out news such as that? pretty damn impressive. And I told you something big was coming. And I think we're right in the husk of it. We're right there at it. We're right there. It's just like we're on a teeter board. Is that right? Is that right? When you're like teetering back and forth, we're right there. We're right there. And I think Joe and Fauci's going to get body slammed. Without a doubt, it's coming. And we know it now by what you're going to be hearing over the next couple of days. Believe me, pay close attention. Google things, YouTube things. You will see that, I would say in the next 24 to 48 hours, you're going to see some major events as a positivity of everything you're going to want to know about in big ways that way. All right, so we're well into this crisis, and what we have now is a new crisis, okay? And it's not the swine flu or this chicken thing going around that's now being pushed as a narrative as well, okay? It's not that. We're in an inflation crisis. We really are in an inflation crisis for all of everyone in the United States, especially the smalls, and the not so good, well educated people who didn't, couldn't afford to go to college and whatnot, and are just, hand on hand kind of essential people. They're going to have such a hard time. And then you have people still don't want to work, of course, and they want to stay on a fixed income that the government can give them. And, they're going to suffer hugely. It's going to blow up in their face, and it's going to blow up in many ways. And numbers say why. Numbers say why, and I'm going to explain to you why that is. You really have not seen nothing yet. All right, you guys remember. All right, reflect back with me here. Okay, we had an issue of $87 million. Going to be diversified out there to all the hotels and stuff for what's going on down in Texas, the border issue, the open spaces. No one wants to visit. Harris doesn't want to go. Glovin doesn't want to go. Mary Beth doesn't want to go down. No one wants to go investigate it personally. Harris doesn't want to go. Yeah, I know, I'm getting on you. April doesn't want to go, but we know what's going on. We all know what's going on, and that's what's important. Check this out. 1,239 rooms, but not even rooms, beds per night, charging the federal government, willfully paying $352.64 per bed per night times 80,000 people. Now listen, it gets even a little more juicier than that, and it's all being investigated. It really is. Now it's not, this is a blow up that's in the midst, privately being investigated with attorneys, people. We are for the people kind of people, just great, phenomenal people, looking into this really hard. So you have people that may be there for just a day to 3 days, tops. What a rotation. How much money are they not telling us about that these people are getting to keep this monopoly of bullshit going on? Now, you think about what I just said to you. 1,239 rooms per night, or beds. Let's claim them as beds because they basically, allowed them to go out and get these cots and everything and be charged $352 a night and 64 cents. And I wonder if they're paying federal tax on it. Do you think we're getting any tax money back? I don't know why I threw that in there. So this is going to go on for 6 months, and the money's not going to last. Does this give you, in a 3-day period, 80,000 people rotation, any inclination with, from the time it started to now, how many people they have fed into the United States already, who are being flown with free tickets all over America, everywhere, in Alaska and Hawaii, who are taking and picking and choosing the best places to live, taking your dream away from you, living on beautiful islands in Hawaii, coast of Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, Arizona, and so on and so on and so on. No wonder why we have what we have is martial law watching borders. And don't think we're not under it. Don't think we're not under it. Okay, we are. I've explained in a couple ways, a couple narratives as to how that is going on. And the minute you call and activate, you are activating a partial martial. There's different categories, different levels, but it's true, okay? But imagine that. How many times has 80,000 people flipped? And we're trying to get into all the airlines records now. I have somebody that's working there that says they can give me a cheat sheet. I want to be able to tell you what that cheat sheet says. I want to be able to tell you how many people had flee. Yeah, they are. They flee to here to America. But no, I want to be able to explain to everybody how many people really got out there and came to America and are getting this free ride. Not to mention anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000 a person, hand checks, and all the other essentials. You're getting food stamps. You're getting immediate Social Security checks, not just of the low part of a social. No, they get the full amount. You worked your whole life and you don't get it in many ways. So imagine that. But that's how it is. So good things going there, but that does give you some credibility as to the numbers. When you start putting it together, if you take it from day one to where we are now, where we truly are. And let's not even get into the children. You know I'm for the children all the way, but let's not do that now. It's not the time. We're going to try to enjoy this holiday and hope that they're safe and somebody of a higher power is looking out for these children who are coming in, don't even know their names. They don't even know who their last names, and that's sad. That's sad. All right, so, we have all this going on, and we know what's going on. And, yeah, so it's pretty pathetic, pretty pathetic. Going over in between cross-reference notes here, what I did this morning, I did a live podcast with somebody. We did a power session. I did pretty good. I really did. I was actually surprised with myself. My mouth was just going, I was kind of rocking to that. All right, so let's get into this here. A judge dismissed an indictment that was laying over one of our powerhouse podcasters in America from the War Room, Steve Bannon. Hey, Steven, go ahead, man. Now, Judge dismissed it, said this ain't going to float here. There's no sense for indictment. And they're chasing Trump right now. They want to get Trump arrested. Florida, DeSantis is trying to do everything he can to protect Trump. They're trying to do all this, though, because of what's in place and what's going on. So there's a little fight here of war. They want to arrest Trump. They want to try to crush anything and any stability that and gain and momentum that has occurred in America throughout this. So they really have this under their belt that they want to get this done. They want to get him arrested. They're waiting for him to step off the Florida turf or be able to go onto the Florida turf to perform an arrest on him. And that's true fact there. They want this indictment. They want him arrested. So I'm still worried a little bit where we're looking at languages and laws. And I do have a law dictionary here. I look them up. I want you to see this. Now that's business. I thought I had the legal. Anyway, but I have that one too. I have 3 different ones. And I do look up everything. I really do, because I want to understand where these morons are at. But anyway, just so you know what's going on with Trump, wish him well. Let's stay in the fight. Keep focused, because there is a power source here. It's a power struggle. We have dual presidency going on. And one's about ready to fail and fall off the planet, without a doubt. That's going to happen very shortly with Fauci. There's not a doubt in my mind. Then we have AOC, who claims that she finds it necessary to enroll herself into therapy after the January 6th insurrection because of what had occurred and the fear and everything that happened to her, and she's having a very rough time about it. Well, thank you for all the support up there. I appreciate the word getting out. But no, true. Her narrative is being pushed that she is in therapy because the fear that she had gone through that day, and from what I understand, she wasn't even in the same building. I don't get it, but that's what's being put out there, and it's not being put out by a narrative that I'm aware of. I've seen it actually in a couple articles. So, yeah, anything to persuade the public at any cost, to, basically preach a false narrative. And I don't believe for a minute that she suffered anything outside of her own stupidity, which we know that she's capable of doing. And so, yeah, that's coming from, all her and her friends actually spoke of it up in Nancy Land. So you have that. All right, so freedom, remember it. It's not free. April, I think I got this from you, and I wanted to take this into a different direction. I really want you to know I thank you, and I used this morning, and I thought it was great, and it'd be great to say this because of where we are in this holiday. Freedom. Remember, it's not free. It comes with a very, very heavy price. You must be willing to fight for it. This is a very real war, more than most will ever know, for the first time in America. Not based upon the rich and controlled to profit of war, but the fight for the war of our freedoms in America to regain our strength, where you can never put a price on freedom when it comes to that in reality. This is a problem, one of the very first true ever war problems. We are an embarrassment in our own country, at a war with our own government, as many in the globe are. And to me, I had to put that out there, twist my little narrative on it, and just try to speak the truth of it for just a moment, because we really are at that point in that time. And it's disappointing, for sure. And there's a lot of anxiety for people and so forth. But we are in a place right now where we have never been in America, when you're in a war with your own government. Yeah, things have been challenged here before, for sure, but not on this magnitude of where we stand. But, that's why I post the things I post, the pictures I post, the armies that I post, and different things in Taking Back America, the global army of Donald J. Trump, etc. These are my hints that I put out there as to why I go where I go with narratives that I use and create to try to give you some informativity of good information. April, I want to thank you for that, because it's really true. And we're in something that has no comparison to where we've ever been before, at least never in our lifetime. Most wars, all wars, have been to benefit a dollar sign to the rich in some fashion. Many died for false reasons. Many have died for false reasons of what the governments in our country, has led people to believe, the patriots who died for us, to come up onto this holiday event and do whatever you can to stop them from removing a date such as this holiday that we are about to come upon this weekend, and enjoy it and stay with your family and enjoy everything about it and pay your respects and your thoughts in your mind. You don't have to say them out loud, I know a lot of people still can't face it. They're still blind. They're deaf to the ear. But as long as you have it in your heart and in your mind, you're the American that we all want to be like. You're the America we want to be. And April, I do thank you for that. I do. I think that was great positivity. I just wish, when it comes down to the realization of who we are as people and who our government really has been, a day like this doesn't even justify what we should do for people that, protected us and gave us what we have, even though most 95% of them fell under false narratives of false lies. This we know is not a lie. We're living it. And I know we have the patriots behind the soldiers, the patriots behind the police, and we are standing. We're just waiting for that moment in time, if we're ever asked to be needed. And just remember to do the best you can this holiday and enjoy it. I really believe that. Now, I got some news on something else that's been leaked out too. Declassifications. One of them has to do with a more important plan. And gun smuggling has to do with SEALs in Benghazi. The SEALs in Benghazi. They were told to stand down. 3 a.m. phone call. I'm in bed. Well, something has occurred. So Hillary's getting this information. Well, I'll have to weigh on this, and you'll have to brief me in the morning, knowing that there was an endangerment, an insurrection, an act of violence towards Americans who needed protection, who were calling out for backup and protection at 3 a.m. And she gets the phone call and basically stands down to it. Basically stands down to it. So papers like this now are being declassified, and now they have been actually, but they're being released. We have wonderful things going on in America, proving much, proving a lot. And this is what I say exactly why I enjoyed and wanted to share that piece from April, Dead Lady Red. But true, that's her name. Um, you know, the factors are so important. All right, so let me get to this, what I call murders in the hospitals. And they were, they still are in ways. Not as bad, but maybe it'd be a good book name. And maybe this person one day will write a book because she had a lot to say. She's seen through the eyes of many people, and this is through the eyes of this nurse. Um, on a daily basis, she would care for people and do the best that they could concerning all the health concerns that occurred with COVID and at the beginning. And there was a period of time, January, I think she said, through April, where they thought that was the most significant, at least from where she was. And what the healthcare systems were promoting with the government, by the government taking control of the situation, which we know they did. And we saw whose hands that was in. We saw the narrative. We saw the push. And there was nothing that they could do to make people well again. They were told to stand on again. Stand on. There's nothing we can do. Let time take its course until they're gone. And in many ways, that's what they had to do. They did not have any information, she explained. They were told not to use IVs, no antibiotics, no ivermectin, and so on. You know the meds, okay? It didn't matter if they were a heart attack victim. There was a do not resuscitate order on everyone. Everyone. Didn't matter. Didn't matter if you had cancer or you were a diabetic. No one was to be resuscitated or given a second chance to life. And as I said, without IVs and solutions, and no one actually even the numbers were so great they couldn't even hand feed the people. The people couldn't even have their own families come in to try to support or help them. And what they did learn was whether you had a mask on or off, it didn't matter. You would still catch this because many of them did catch the COVID. And is it deadly? Was it deadly? Yes. Did it affect certain people? Yes. That's provable fact as well. And she's kind of certified that information. The certifications on all the death documents had to be labeled COVID related, which we know were not all true by any means. And this is what she explained. And I thought this was just, what we probably expected to hear, what you probably expected to hear. And I know this is not of any consequence right now being talked about so much, but we're now seeing it through somebody's eyes, and I thought it was important to share it. So anyway, there was no isolations. They were all just piled in wherever and however the governors of the states and so forth, and also globally all around the world the same ways. Everybody had a check-in order on how to handle it, and basically how to handle it was just to let them die. Do not help them, just let them die. We're not going to be able to do nothing for them. That was the narrative pushed, even though many nurses, not just herself, knew that was an untruth. And it was very hard for them to go to work day after day to deal with things like this. People laying side by side, they weren't even being cleaned. They weren't even being cleaned and cared for that way because there wasn't enough help to even do it. And they basically laid in their own you know, they were just filthy. Okay, and it was horrible just to walk into the rooms. I was, as I was understood it, being told to me, and I guess everything about that, as well as the disease and you know, shameful, shameful. But yeah, she said they learned very early on that the mask had no effect and no protection in any ways. That the agent of what this was, who it did affect, was able to get through any mask that they came up with. No matter how well they were protected, people still got sick. So it was quite dangerous, okay? And I believe that. I always kind of did. And I shouldn't say kind of, I did. It's just a matter of infectment. And when you create an infection, like she explained, in an area and keep piling more and more and with it who are genuinely sick with it, and you mix ones who are not, cancer patients, a heart attack victim, we'll put them in the COVID ward because we got to write it down that it's COVID related to cause the heart attack. The money, the dollar sign, the figure from the government, the pharma, everybody behind medical nightmares of liars and more. And that's how I got it, and that's how it was explained. But multiple, check out this part here, was really interesting too. One person can have up to 20 tests in a week. One person. Every time a test swab is used and it comes back positive, it's a new marker as a new person, even though it's the same person. So if they were tested 20 times over a period of a week, and they were in a survival area where they became well, it was still marked on as 20 people had COVID, even though they were testing the same person 20 times. This we now know is also a fact and true on paperwork. And she actually had paperwork to show it. I couldn't see it physically. It's able to be shared. I'm sure it'll get out there on the internet. That promise, I believe, is coming and people will see it. So you have all these false positives that they were intermixing into them as well, because the false positive was considered a half a point. Sure, but unsure. It still mattered as a point, and all the halves got added into wholes, which got added into another person. So that's how corrupt the system was. That's how hard the narrative was pushed, and that was coming through the eyes of a nurse that had to deal with it daily. And I don't know a lot that we talk to and that we can talk to. And I thought it was interesting enough to share with you guys and just give you a little of that insight from her. And she explained this with tears in her eyes, as she was frustrated about it and very hurt. And I can't imagine having to work through a situation like that where you have no control and the doctors won't listen to you. And they knew it was wrong. And they knew they were doing their own homework as well. They knew that there were things that could be used and tried, and they did not want to do anything for anyone. And that's just shameful. And that's the government and governments of the world as well as in the United States. And that's why I pray so hard in my own mind and heart that crimes on humanity come to the people responsible, because they knew it. You have Fauci down there giving money. We knew it was a Wuhan lab. We knew how it was created, who the people were around it. They're even testifying to it in ways and making statements to the news. Why is all this coming out now? Why is this? What is the bigger picture of the plan here? Could be Trump. Could be. I'm just saying, could be. All right, so this is out there also. I don't know if this is true. Maybe you guys can help me with this. Okay? And I really want to know if this is true. It seems Joe Biden's sister is married to a guy named J.T. Owens, Owens, and he just may have holdings in DVS. Anybody know what DVS is? Dominion Voting Systems. Now, would that not be a shocker? Would that not be a shocker? So anyway, that's what's being reported. That's what's getting out there. And as I say, when these people are done with you, they don't need you. They don't need you. They get rid of you. And that's what I see coming. I see two default really fast. It's already happening. It's taking place, and the media is doing it for you right now. Check into what I'm talking about, what I've expressed to you. You'll see it's there. You'll see. All right, let me see what else I got here, rocking here for you guys here. All right, so we're going to take this off step for a little bit because some of my viewers that stick with me are just rock stars, and you guys really are, and I appreciate you. And I know this isn't where you want to be for some, but just bear with me for a minute here. Anybody know who Mike Collins is? All right, well, Mike Collins was a pilot that was affiliated with Apollo 11. And, I'm doing my own form of soft disclosure here, okay? And that's not where I'm really going, but I want to give you some key information here and let you know how some things really do work. Nobody ever talked about him. They always talked about Neil and Buzz Aldrin, and the boys, the main guys. One leap step by man is another, blah, 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 and all that stuff, first man on the moon. But here, they had nothing to do with getting to the moon. The guy that got him there, his name was Mike Collins. He was the pilot. And like people say, well, who is he? Now he's an 88-year-old guy, good health. And I caught an interview with him, and I thought this is interesting, just enough to pass on to some people about what space, warding and everything was really about, and how all this became possible, and all these developments of high in the sky military things and events have occurred. Because the reason that they went there was more for a lot of other reasons than ever explained to the public. And Australia played a big part in the America's space program getting up there through NASA. And a lot of people don't know that. Yeah, so hats off to Australia, because they were really rock stars in this event. Because if it wasn't for Australia, they'd have never made it back. There's a certain way to leave an atmosphere into an orbit that puts you on a path. It has to be in timing, and then you can get back home. And that was a really big, hard job for Mike Collins. He actually noted that he had this rope thing around his neck that was to a binder, and he had 18 to 20 different scenarios of how to get back to Earth if something went wrong and complications happened. And I guess he had enough time between Earth and, the moon to be able to do it. But he was just giving some of his little hints and tidbits of information on how he did what he did to get them there, as well as to bring them home. But to get home was much worse and much harder, and Australia got us home. So I thought I'd throw that in there because Mike Collins is a guy nobody ever hears about, and that's shameful. It is. He's part of history. And why they're just allowing his name to get out there now, I don't have a clue. But he was never anybody of anything, even though he was the whole key to the plan. Amazing, right? He was the whole key. And Australia was the key, our guidance key, our GPS, orbit back home. So, appreciate those guys. Appreciate those guys. And you got to talk about it. Now, you also have up there this, what we call the scientific lab and stuff. Just to give you a little bit of something on that is this, okay? What they stay in up there is equivalent to what I've been told and understood over the years, and they do add on to it a 5-bedroom, 4-bath class A home in size. But based in it has 4 labs of different countries, and they run all different types of experiments up there. What type exactly, why they have to do them off, or what the difference means, I don't know. It could be medical things, and these are things that are suppressed to anybody. They suppress them on everybody, I should say. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So that's part of my soft disclosure today. So it wasn't real hard. Now, 20% of all of our tax dollars, as I told you, goes right to England, the Bank of England, the Crown of England. Isn't that crazy? And ever since 1871, they've been collecting illegal style taxes from the American people. Yeah, and that's true too. Please look it up. And why did why did Joe kill the pipeline and start transporting oil by railroad? Okay, well, it probably goes back to the families and the friends, of course, who owns the railroad. And if they own the railroad, they are the only ones that can own the electrical power grids as well, which, again, the railroad, the electrical, they work hand in hand together. They are as one. They're mixed, but they are all as one of the same type of people and ownership. So, yeah, these executive orders by Trump that I was talking a little bit earlier about, to seize everything. This was an executive order that so far has not been stopped. And this started to take place under Trump's reign, his order, while he was in power. And it was to seize everything by people who had anything to do with human right violations. Never, and there's more expression to it all. And you know the HST, the HT, and all that stuff. All right. We know who were some of these families. Well, the Felician families were one. I believe that's how they pronounce it. All right. So these guys were taken down. They really were. We know that this has happened. You'll be getting more words on that. This is how some of what's going to happen has happened, what you're going to have some knowledge of real soon. All right. So you also, inside this, you have much declassification that's going to open up a lot of the wrongs that were everywhere, all over of every, all the time that Trump was in office, before Trump, the declassifying of JFK, which is the whole story, is in there. We know that that's there. I cannot wait till that is released, because we know what we know already. Let's see how right we are to what our assumptions, beliefs are of what we learned over all these silent years. I'm sure we're on the right track, but I can't wait to see it. Hillary Clinton's all over the place right now, as far as all her notes and dictations and everything, and all her wrongdoings, all declassified. So yeah, this is by order, and I'm doing it like this for a reason. Stay with me. All right, now check this out. Rothschilds. All right, we know how powerful and rich they are, right? But wouldn't it surprise you if in the Vatican, under the Vatican, and all the secret levels in the Vatican, and there's miles of tunnels under there of storage of so much, billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in gold were seized. Okay. Now you remember the board up and all that stuff that happened, and the play along now by the Pope, and comes out, and he's supporting, satanic stuff and so forth. He's trying to keep his goal, in the Jesuits order as the Pope of the Vatican. And well, guess what? This executive order allowed them to do this. They knew where the charges were. They knew who to go after. I hope I'm tying this together for you a little bit tighter now, so you're following me. If you have followed me, if you do follow me, you know why I'm giving you a little bit more today. But yeah, so this is another hit. This is another hit that displaced this whole circuitry of bullshit of who these people are and how negative and dark they really are and what they believe in, which I talked about yesterday as well. And I'm going to give you something else that they were a party to that people don't even know. And how many people and how many times this has occurred, we just don't know exactly. But what happened to We Are the World? Do you remember? Do you remember the big thing? Michael Jackson got involved and everybody else, and all this stuff. We Are the World, remember? And Haiti, all this money brought in. Humanity and people just donated everywhere. And they got 6 houses out of it. 6 houses out of all this mega money collected, okay? Ethiopia, same deal. Same deal. The devastation that happened over there. Nothing went back to the country. I mean, something went back to the country, but not enough to pick up and sweep up with the broom under the rug even. So who does the money go to? It goes to all these people with the power, the 1%. They are in control of the foundations that Rockefeller and out to everybody, as well as Hillary and more, like the Hillary Foundation. She doesn't truly see the money. She hands it over, but she does get her portion. I guarantee you she gets her portion. So these are all the negative, and examples of crimes on humanity and violations of human rights to people that when they're taken advantage of. And this is how the militaries of the good, the white hats, who some people call, are cleaning up across the globe and going after. And they're just collecting all this gold and all these assets, and they're just taking everything from everybody that they possibly can, and that's their job. And we know that even happened with George Soros. He lost millions of dollars. They went in, they took over his whole office down there, one of his organizations that he had. What was it, Myra something? It's a country like that. But I know it happened. I know it was reported out there widely, and good source news is, and that did occur. And here you are. And why are you there? Well, it's blood. It's private names in banking. And that's exactly what it is. And that's why we give 20% and many times and more to people that, have nothing to do with America but own America. So I'll put it to you that way. So who are some of these people that are actually bloodline? And they are French for the most part. So anyway, they really are. They are. So you got the Kennedy bloodline, and that's true. And they turned their back on their own family because he turned his back to them because he didn't believe in their narrative. All right? Guess who else? Bill Gates. It's not a lie. It's not a lie. The Bush family. Pelosi and Schiff. Bloodlines. True. Family ties. Cousins, always something somewhere related. Not a lie. And I don't see Pelosi to have much ability to do much when the fall starts coming very shortly. And as I said, when it's being reported as it's reported, in the fall, the walls are coming tumbling down. They really are. They really, really are. And don't forget what these people were involved in. They're called the seedings, and they own the stock markets. They own all the stocks. They own all the corporate companies. They are a seeding company who now is really feeling the wrath, the pressure from the white hats, the people with the good. And do you know that you actually have birthrights? You're a stock commodity yourself. You really are. And you probably have a net worth, I think, when they base it out across the world of what each person, because they buy and sell us in ways, okay? And they trade us by who makes more money and how much you're worth and how much tax revenue you're making for them. But you're worth about $250,000 each. Wouldn't that be a nice gift? Wouldn't that be a nice comeback for Trump to be able to hand to everybody? That would be just so phenomenal. It would really help America out in a big way. And I think that's part of what the big plan is. And that's the true restoration, to give back to the people what they should have never been cheated out of in their life, And that's the truth. So, yeah, keep in touch with what's breaking. Fauci's going down without a doubt. Biden's going to hit hard. Yeah. So is Carmella going to come back on? Yeah, of course. Okay. I mean, she stands in line. But let's watch why this has occurred. And it's going to be based upon what has happened in China and the investigations that we know now that Biden killed and shut down to hide everything. Two worms in a mud hole, working together. And they're not going to care. If they get exposed, they're expungable. Get rid of them. They're expungable. We'll get new people in. So who's new to get in right now as where we are? We can only understand it as where we are, not the big picture of what's going on in it. All right, so then you'll have the Harris of Wonderland come in and, with her little black book. Get it? One of the visitors to the island. You get it. Yep, Harris of Wonderland in her little black book. And she was one, and we know about the black book. We know about the power grab. We know about all the videos and more. And, when you have a narrative and negativity of this coming out, how will she step in? How will she act to the American people? I don't know, but that's where I foresee us to come very, very shortly. I know it sounds a little far-fetched and bizarre, but I guarantee everything that I told you, what I've been telling you over the past few days, are true, and this is all connected. And I do want you to understand this unequivocally. Understand this, and this is a truth. Joe does not control the military. Does he have certain things around him? Yes, I'm sure. Okay? Has he tried to infiltrate and do things to get closer to the military? Yes, he has. But is he operating and is he in charge of them? No. That would still fall under somebody else. So I'm starting to flash here. I'm going to give everybody another wave. I guess maybe we were flashing out. I don't know what goes on. I don't always look on. I want to thank everybody. I want you guys to have a great holiday. I want you to know I am going to be on Friday night. I like to do an interaction, though. If you guys want to call in or something, you can hit me up. I'll figure out either posting a number. I can do that, actually. I can put a number up where you can call in direct. or I'll go about it a different way and we can use Messenger because a lot of people, their numbers are protected through Messenger. And if you want to call in, be part of it, and talk about your issues or statements, I'd love to have you join in and do that. Because Monday through Thursday, I can say enough unless we got some real bombshell shit to show from the shit show. And usually something happens on a daily basis that way. So stick to what is important and what is news right now because today you may not have fake news. You may see a narrative of the left of what's to come. Why the big change? I don't know. Is it the push? Is it the Trump push? Somebody's pushing something, and that we do know. When the media reports about it, it's in the news. So that's what's happening in the news here from me. I am Michael Anthony. This is 10 O'Clock Talks. This is Waking Up. You guys are rock stars. You really, really are, man. Thank you so much for having me into your lives. I appreciate you guys so much. You know, I really, really do. Dave Glovin, I hope you have a successful podcast today. And anybody else that's on, actually. Joanne. Oh, Joanne, you were on. Hey, I'm going to give you a call. I promise. I'd like to talk to you more about that. It's very interesting information that you have. I enjoyed our conversation. Mary Beth, she's a rock star. You guys all know that. Support Mary Beth best you can. If anybody feels like sharing this, please, you're welcome to do it. If you want to jump to Facebook, it doesn't hurt. I'm sorry, not Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe today, and I know many of you guys already have. But I'm pushing it only in the event. How well can I stay hidden in Florida? We'll see. But in the meantime, we're going to keep the videos being uploaded there. There was just like another 30 hours put on. I think we have another 80 hours to upload. And then we'll have all close to 6 months up there for you guys to watch it anytime you want. So thanks for having me. I appreciate all you guys so much. I really do. Please enjoy your holiday weekend. And remember, I got love for every one of you guys. I really do. All in different ways. But you got my love. You got my hopes, my prayers. And I wish your families well. Stay healthy. And don't forget, it doesn't hurt to buy a little extra right now. We are in a bad time. Be safe instead of sorry. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.